Good morning. Welcome to BCB Live. We're the safest station in the nation. Coming here right out of Mansfield, Texas. It's the heartbeat of Texas, folks. I'm telling you right now, this place is the heartbeat of Texas, and it is still hot. We had like 18 sprinkles of rain yesterday. Put the windshield wiper on for a second just to test it out. You know, you got that kind of rain, just enough to dirty up your car and take it back into the car wash again, right? Just brutal summer here. Hey, a great show today, as today is that last day that we're going to be showing until September the 5th when we go back on at noontime. Again, the purpose of the 7 o'clock show, I'll just tell you, it's bright and early, and it's so early for most of our people that get in here on the interview. Heck, Boyd is late half the time because it's so early. So it's early even for us, and we get it. And what we want to do is push it to that noontime. The show started at 7, and it was originally done for our drivers at our company, so our trucking company. We put it out there, and then we said, you know what? We want to just do one for you, our truck drivers of America, the trucking industry, insurance companies, all of you, so we can do that. It stayed at 7. However, we do get it, right? I mean, other than truck drivers, most of y'all aren't getting up till 7:30 or 8. Just kidding. But it gives us an opportunity for news to happen. Not a lot of news happens before 7 o'clock in the morning. So we can kind of feed into that, perhaps giving us better content. I'm going to tell you for certain, it's going to give us better folks more folks to bring in an interview. Again, we're kind of, we're handcuffed, right? Not many people from Arizona or California are excited about BCB Live because it's like 5 o'clock in the morning their way. We had Sheriff Lamb one time on the show. Producer, were you here when we had Lamb on?
No, I think that was a couple weeks before I started.
Gotcha. So we had Sheriff Lamb. For those of you, he's a big Fox contributor. He was America's Sheriff on the show that was focused on the sheriff folks. Anyway, Sheriff Lamb out of Arizona, Palomino, Arizona.
Was he the sheriff? Was he the sheriff on Live PD?
Yes.
That's him?
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he's just a stud, man. Just a stud. So America's Sheriff is what he's known as. We bought the books. Anyway, Sheriff Lamb came on our show, and we had him on bright and early. It was like 7:05, 7:10 our time. We had him on for probably 45 minutes. So he had to get up, get dressed at like 5 o'clock in the morning or 4:45 in the morning. You know what, Sheriff? We appreciate what you do for the safest station in the nation. Today we're going to have another episode, another interview with Charlie, and we're going to talk a little bit about recruiting. CS Recruiting, what it is that they do, how they stay focused on that. That's going to come to you about the 7-11 mark. As I go through the paper, this is one of my favorite things I get to do on Thursdays. I get to look at just stories, right? And just say, okay, what makes sense, what doesn't, or duh. So here we go. I'm on the business side right now. And in the headline here, Domino's last Italian store closes. And I'm thinking, seriously? I mean, you're going Domino's? You're going to go to Italy and open up a pizza place. The birth of pizza. You're going to open up a Domino's. And it goes on to say, well, we knew we had some challenges. There was a lot of risk going in here. And I'm thinking, yeah, you don't go to Italy. You might as well, you're going to go there and open and sell some spaghetti too? It ain't going to happen. They've got the best pizza in the world right there out of Italy. All right, we keep going here. And here we go. Serena Williams, producer. She's getting ready to retire. I think U.S. Open's going to be her retiring act when she's done. 23, 25 majors, something like that. She's
23. So I was actually listening to the ticket on the way to work today, and they said she's got 23 major wins, and if she can win this, she'll tie the all-time record and go out on a high note. But if she doesn't, she'll end up being number 2. So
wow, just what an amazing athlete. Did you ever watch the movie about King Richard, I think?
I did. Actually, after the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock incident, I went back and watched it, and I liked it a lot. I thought it was really good.
Speaking of that, I'm glad you brought that up. I was watching an interview with Will Smith the other day, and I guess they haven't talked yet. There's been no speaking. Yeah. I really would have thought by now it would have came out that it was somehow staged.
Yeah, well, everybody thought it was staged at first, and then Will released thing about it. Still mad, but I guess his interview the other day, he was really apologetic. And
yeah, I don't want to go back, but, he never got mad until he looked over at his wife and saw that she didn't think it was funny either. Or didn't think it was funny, then he got mad on that. So anyway, another story. Also in the news, chip makers expect slowdown to worsen. Now, when we're talking about the chips in here, we're talking about for the laptops, Micron. We already have a major chip shortage in that asset side as well. We had Biden, signed in yesterday some relief, some funds to go into that industry, but they don't just pop up overnight. It's going to take a little bit. We are continuing to see on that tractor side, on the transportation side, we continue to see trucks coming out without all the parts, without all the safety features. These chips are critical, and we're going to try to, it appears, to bring some of that, if not all, majority of that, back home right here to have a little bit more control of that. But we saw just that laptop industry just take a shellacking. They just, you still struggle to get laptops right now. The chip shortage is real. You can't get them. It takes a long time. The prices are up. The stocks have been down. Pretty bad. Hey, producer, I do want to go into this for a second. I was just looking at some things today, and, I wanted to, let me find it here, and I want to go over this part right here. So let's look at the screen here for a second, and excuse my writing, but this is what you get today. All right, here we go. I went back and I looked at the market in various areas comparing today to a year ago, like literally a year ago. All right, here we go. Diesel. Diesel is 57% higher today than it was a year ago. And that's after the first time in like 9, 10, 11 weeks that we've seen it finally creep under that $5 a gallon mark on the DOE. 57% more expensive today. And I wanted to do this right here because with diesel pricing, there comes advantages and disadvantages for different groups. And up here I have the small independent contractor. I have that large trucking company, and then I have the broker. So here we go. So diesel pricing is 57% higher. Who does it? My question on here was like, you know what? I'm going to check off who this really does benefit, if anybody. It doesn't benefit the independent contractor at all. It hurts them. It takes away that money from them, that bottom dollar. No effect on them. Actually it hurts them. That large trucking company, I'm going to put a checkbox in that. And you're saying, well, come on now, Rick, that doesn't make any sense. How can diesel price go up and, help a large trucking company? Well, here's the deal. They've got fuel contracts in place with all of their vendors already, with all of their shippers already. They have fuel contracts on futures or deals with those trucking companies. At worst, it's neutral, but it surely doesn't hurt them. And if it hurts this person, it's probably going to help them as well. Broker, it raises rates. It doesn't hurt them at all. They have no fuel expense. That spot market price, that's that freight that was rejected last year, right? The freight that gets rejected that goes to the spot market. Well, here we go. It's down 26.5% today versus a year ago. That's pricing. Boy, it doesn't help this person right here. I'm going to say it's neutral right here to the large trucking company. I must say neutral, but it kind of benefits him. Once again, if it hurts this person, it helps them out over here. Most of their freight's on the contract side anyway. The large trucking company from the spot market side, it may be kind of neutral, could benefit them because, if it hurts this person, it's going to help them. The spot market, it's going to help the broker. They have contracts. Again, I'm talking about the larger broker. They've got rates in place already plus fuel. Well, when rates go down, their margins really do increase significantly. We saw it at the end of the second quarter with record profits for most of them. Contracted rates. Wow. Small companies, independent contractors, they tend to not have any. No benefit to them. Large trucking company, Wow, you've seen all of them, with the exception of one on the publicly traded companies, all record record revenue. Contracted rates to the broker, kind of the same thing. Rates go up. They benefit when rates go up or spot market goes. The broker always seems to benefit. Volume, folks. Here we go. The volume is down 21%. Not a lot of volume out there. Doesn't help the independent contractor. Maybe neutral to this person. Always benefits the broker. I'm just going to say rejections, and that's the freight that's being rejected across America. Rejections create that spot market. Freight that gets rejected goes into a spot market in which these folks here can really flourish. We saw it last year. Record profits for this, folks. Rejections are down 78%. That means nothing. Volume's down. Rejections way down. These folks aren't seeing anything. No benefit for them whatsoever. Rejections, it helps a large trucking company, especially that large trucking company that has a broker, because they have contracted rates. They accept everything. And why do they accept everything? Because it's better than what's out there on the spot market. That's why they do it. Broker, it benefits them. They just, look, they really don't lose at all. The large trucking company, we've seen it this year, having pretty good first and second, and expected to have a good third quarter, no matter what. Right here, we've been talking about it for dang near a year now. Really since November of last year, what ifs, right? They bought the truck at the highest rate ever. Insurance at the highest rate ever. They're buying diesel at the highest rate ever. Meanwhile, rates are going down. This group right here, that's that America independent contractor. That's America right there. These folks are going to struggle the rest of the year. Especially those that got into business this past 12 months. Those that have been in for a while, they won't suffer as much. Anybody that fulfilled that dream of going into their own business last year, they're going to struggle right now. Hey, listen, we're going to come back. We got Charlie. She's waiting patiently. We're coming back to her, and we'll come back to you with her in about 60 seconds on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. You're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. BCB Live covers freight. Here we are now at 21% of record freight being rejected. News down in Texas. We're going to talk a little bit about this. We had another $1.5 million seizure. If ever there's a time to do a pre or post trip, it's if you're doing something wrong. Weather, traffic.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to some traffic and weather with Buckle Up Bob. You can kind of see where the visibility can be compromised a little bit. Again, right where that rain is.
And most importantly, safety. One of the things that we must do is make sure that safety is the number one thing that we focus on.
Going into an intersection yellow is not the way. That's to clear an intersection, not to enter an intersection.
Tune in weekdays from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can watch BCB Live through LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today and follow BCB Live. And welcome back to BCB Live. We're the safest station in the nation. And today we're joined by Charlie Safro with CS Recruiting. Charlie, top of the morning to you. How's Chicago?
Chicago is great. We've got a nice summer day, and I'm excited to be here.
Well, you know what? We couldn't be more excited to have you and really want to dive into a little bit about what you do. First of all, though, our company was formed back in 2011. You're right there close to us, 2010. Your age is older than we are. Talk to us about, your desire, number one, to start in this, to start this recruiting business in our industry, how you came to that, and some of the whys and even the challenges that you've had, especially early in the years.
Yeah, I'm happy to give you the short version of the story. So I don't like to say I started my company by accident, but it was very organic. I graduated college, went into marketing, and I did that for about 6 years. My husband was actually a freight broker at the time, so I think you'll appreciate this. Back in 2000, he came up with a concept for a load board that technically eliminated the broker. So way before their time, connected shippers and carriers. We had our first son. I went back to my marketing world. It was a grind. So asked him if I could come work for his small company. They had 8 employees at the time. He begrudgingly let me join their team. Didn't really want to work with his wife, but he knew I was a hard worker. So I started with their team. The company was Real Time Freight, and they just went through a massive growth spurt. So honestly, when I started, I was kind of an office manager. I was, filing papers back in the day, getting coffee, doing whatever they needed me to until there was a need to recruit. And I had capacity, so taught myself how to recruit, helped them grow. Stayed with them for about 4 years as their corporate recruiter. They sold the business in 2010 with a little over 100 employees. So definitely got some experience finding people, evaluating them, interviewing, onboarding, but really taught myself along the way. And then I started as really doing some freelance recruiting work. Give a lot of credit to LinkedIn. I was on LinkedIn very early, positioned as a logistics and transportation recruiter. So as I was doing some freelance searches, I maybe had 2-3 searches I was working on, and started getting inquiries from mostly brokerages in my area, asking if I could help them recruit a sales manager or a carrier rep, and I knew the business, so why not? And that's where the organic piece started. It was one opportunity after another. I'm definitely an entrepreneurial person, and I take my work seriously. So it was either, go full force and make this something, or potentially fail, and I don't fail. So just gave it my all, and before I knew it, I had a side business that turned into a real business where, I had opportunity and I needed to scale and hire people to support it.
Awesome, man. You know what? We love the women-owned business, especially in this industry right here, an industry that's been so male-dominated. We see it in the driving force, and we see it within, we see it inside the office. But I'll tell you, as somebody that's been in transportation, trucking for a long time, that has really changed. We do see a lot more females. I'm talking about directors of, chief information officers or CFOs, accounting, CSR reps, all of that, dispatchers. They've really done a great job. Y'all have done of coming into this industry and showing the dudes kind of, hey, you know what? We're pretty daggum good, if not better than you.
Exactly. I love to see the female audience grow, and it definitely has since I've been in this industry.
So I got a question for you, because, a challenge, and again, you have a staff of 43. And I just try to think about this is a challenge is finding somebody out there. I'm not talking about you. Now you're recruiting for, say, my company. I'm looking for somebody to come in here and be a dispatcher on the brokerage side or on the trucking side, a CSR. You've got to somehow get into the heart and soul of that person you're talking to, trying to find a good match for our company as well. I mean, what's that secret sauce? Can you help us out a little bit?
Absolutely. The secret sauce is that we know this industry inside and out. So everyone on our team either came from the industry or we've trained them rigorously in all aspects. And so we know the competitive landscape. We know how companies treat their employees, which companies have strong cultures, which companies have high turnover. So we also really cover the scope of the market, 3PL, asset-based, shipper side, technology. So when a candidate comes to us, we can really evaluate their skill set, their background, also what do they want to do moving forward. And it's very rare that we would only have one opportunity for them. In most cases, we can kind of open up and say, you were a dispatcher, we can help you move along the dispatch path, or have you ever considered an opportunity as a broker or a planner, and really expose them to the full industry. So what makes us different is our knowledge, but also just our human approach. We look at every person as a human being that has emotions, that has families, that they have decisions to make. They're not just a number, they're not just a resume. And I think that's why people enjoy working with our team, because we treat them the way they deserve to be treated.
You know what? Love that part. But now you're bringing them in. Have you seen a shift from those that have to work from home versus going into the office? What have you seen on that?
huge, huge shift that clearly the pandemic drove, but I consider it a silver lining. It helped companies realize that they had to step up their game to get great people. It helped people realize their value. Now, I like to caveat this that there still are and there always will be positions in this industry that require boots on the ground. And there are plenty of people who thrive in those environments. They want to leave their house in the morning. They want to be at the terminal, at the dock, and those people are there, but there is a increasing majority of people that have desk jobs. They sit on a computer and they know they can be equally or more productive working from home. So why not reduce, their expenses and save them time by eliminating the commute? Why not give them that, level of trust by providing some flexibility? So I would say pretty much any office job right now, if you're not at least hybrid, you are missing out on securing some really great talent, because people know that those opportunities are out there, and they also know that they can do good work from home, so why not?
Yeah, great point on that. All right, so experience, work ethic, which is higher in your eyes?
For my company personally, work ethic. And we have hired very experienced people. We have hired entry-level people. And I have just seen it prove itself over the years. It comes down to character, comes down to people who are motivated, who align with our values. Unfortunately, resumes don't always communicate character or work ethic. So in our world, we usually focus on background, skill set, experience at different companies. That's what gets the resume to us, and that's what gets the candidate an interview. But definitely we're screening for character. We're looking at all those intangibles, as I think that's really what makes somebody successful.
Gotcha. So you mentioned earlier in the conversation that you went to go work for your husband. Now you begin your company. Coincidentally, or was that a favor owed? He becomes your first employee.
It was an absolute coincidence. When he sold his business, he was actually given a non-compete. So he had to wait out before he could really get back into the true transportation technology side of the industry. At that time, I had started my company. He was an entrepreneur. He had done this before. I hadn't. I will be very honest. I was making it all up as I went along, and I still sometimes do that today. But he was my first hire, and it was at a point where I mentioned before it was either go full force or potentially fail, and I knew I wanted to give it my all. But my husband was instrumental in helping me, set up our company LLC, set up the bank accounts, the legal, all the stuff I kind of didn't want to deal with early on. He supported me. So he is proud to say he was the first hire, helped me grow the business for about 7 years, and then he recently stepped out, and now I'm running the business and really caring for the baby that I built.
Awesome. So Charlie, you talk about your baby, and as an entrepreneur, I'm telling you, I feel the passion. I can hear it in your voice, the importance of that. The same thing happens. However, when we begin a company, and when you began your company, let's just go to that. There were probably some struggles, some challenges in the knowledge base, maybe even from the finance side to going out and creating, at some point you're going out and you're selling your company, and somebody's going to ask that dreaded question, how long have you been in business? And you know what? That's the part you're like, oh, I can't wait till I can say 12 months, right? Not even a year. You were trying to get to the big number. What were some of those challenges? Because when I think about people, and here's where I want you to go with this, because so many people go out there, whether they're independent contractor, starting their own business in any form, they see the end result. They see you 11 years later, and they don't know the challenges that really occur early in the time, and the perseverance maybe it takes to keep going on, the creativity, the figuring it out part, all of that. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So many hardships over the years, and just struggles that I had no choice but to work through. So I think with recruiting, what's really interesting is in the early days, I was a corporate recruiter, so I was paid a salary to do my job. And then when I went off on my own, I really had to convince myself first that I had a service that was worth the fee. Basically, I'm introducing people, and that is my job. There's a lot that goes into it, but at the end of the day, I'm being paid to make an introduction. So I will be very upfront. My first entire 12 months in business, I made $4,250. I know that exact number because it doesn't seem like a lot, and now we've got a multi-million-dollar business. But thank you. I was proud because it proved to me that there were customers and potential clients out there that would pay for this service. And I had to really work through that first year. Financially, I could do that. And, I just powered through, proving it to myself. And, as the years went on, I really understood the work that goes into it, the value of our service, to be able to grow and scale with confidence. But a lot of, losses along the way, lots of rejected offers, lots of candidates that, we thought we found the perfect job for, and then we hear that they don't show up on, day 15 to work. So just learning about, the human psychology is fascinating when you really look behind the curtains in this business.
Man, love the story. And you know what? I'm just going to say this. I believe that as important of a job as you have right now, an important job for entrepreneurs such as yourself is to get out those struggles, because as I'll just tell you and see if you can if you can go along with me on this. But I remember starting and I didn't have anybody to go to. Everybody that I knew was already successful. Perhaps they had taken over a second or third generation business. They weren't going through the same struggles as I was. And I just say this, Charlie, I think we entrepreneurs, especially starting those companies, but we've got to share those with other folks to get it out to them. I always say this, I'm going to tell you something. You've never gone through anything I haven't gone through. Anything, I mean, at all. And I just want to encourage you and kind of get your feedback and, the leadership or the mentorship that we owe it to some of these folks so they don't have to go through perhaps the same things that we had to go through.
Absolutely. It's a learning curve. And like I said before, I made it a lot of it up as I went along. Part of it is faking it till you make it. And
yes.
I think that goes back to your other point about, the femininity in the industry. I'm not scared to be vulnerable. I'm confident in what I know, but I'm also curious. I ask questions. I admit when I don't know how to do something. And I think that's a big part of how I've been able to grow is I know when to ask for help. I know who to ask for help from. And I learn along the way. So it wasn't, snap my fingers and it happened overnight. It was a lot of blood, sweat, tears to get to where we are, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Hey, Charlie, we have about 2 minutes left. I do want to go into this one thing. What's that market looking like for that logistics industry right now in hiring people? Are they out there or are they still kind of scarce?
Kind of scarce. The demand for talent continues to outweigh the supply for talent in our industry. And I don't want to downplay, all the news we're seeing about layoffs and, companies, letting entire workforces go. That's happening. I believe really though that's happening in the tech industry, and it's happening with a lot of companies that were super aggressive with their hiring and now they're kind of backing off and realizing that they need to scale down. In our industry, we are still seeing a huge demand for talent, not a lot of layoffs. If anything, there are more jobs than there are people. So for job seekers, this is a great time to look, explore your value. If you have any hesitations, put yourself out there and really go after your dream. For companies that are hiring, you've got to know what the competition is doing because it's fierce right now and candidates have options. They've got lots of offers on the table. So it's a good time for everyone to learn, but also really to take advantage of what the market's yielding.
Wow, interesting on that. All right, Charlie, we're going to close this out. Before we do that, I want you to do a couple things. Number one, let our viewers, our audience know where they can find your company, if they're looking for a job or looking to hire. And then also, we want to make sure you end this with right here. You're going to state your name, who you work with, and you've been watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Sure thing. So we are very active on LinkedIn. You can find us on LinkedIn, CS Recruiting. Put a lot of content out there with tips and advice for both job seekers and hiring companies. You can also visit our website, cs-recruiting.com. And we'd love to hear from you, whether you are looking to hire and add to your team, or if you are a job seeker potentially looking for a switch. So you're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Charlie, thank you so much. Loved having you on here. Best of luck to you. And you know what? You may be getting a call from somebody in our office here in a little bit.
Sounds great. Great to connect with you this morning.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. There you have it right there. Just another phenomenal interview. This industry has great people. And I'm going to tell you, too, what we've been seeing over the last, I would say this year, we've had some great females in our industry. And it's not a surprise, I don't think, to anybody. We've seen an increase in drivers on that female side. We talk about it all the time. We've seen more CFOs, more HR directors, more owners in this industry. You know, this industry needs people, needs phenomenal people. All right? And one thing that we want to do, we want to encourage you, as always, be part of Women in Trucking as well. Look at the website. Get involved in this industry. Get involved in what you do as well. We have more coming up. We have Double Check Dale. We're going to talk about that rainstorm we had here yesterday in Mansfield, Texas. All of that and so much more right here on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
This segment has been brought to you by Utility ProWear. Utility ProWear manufactures high quality, ANSI certified, high visibility apparel for both men and women. Infused with the Teflon fabric protector, Utility ProWear gives you the added benefit of providing a barrier to liquids, dirt, and grime, keeping you cleaner longer, brighter longer, and therefore safer longer. Get your high visibility apparel by going to utilityproware.com. Use the code BCB20 at checkout for an exclusive discount.
Hi, this is David Dover, also known as Drive Safe Dave. You are watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Safety is what you want to talk about, and safety is what you want to be every single day. That's what we're here for. We're here to make it better.
The industry needs BCB Live so that it can find new and inventive ways to bring safety to the forefront for every single person out there on the road.
You got to be prepared to stop. And when you look at that and you understand the situation that you're in, you got to know that it's going to change. You got to expect it to change, and you can't run those lights.
You can watch BCB Live weekdays, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. So what are you waiting for? Follow and subscribe to BCB Live today.
Welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Double Check Dale here. We're going to talk a little bit about weather, but first, what a great interview again this morning from CS Recruiting, Charlie Safro. Great job. It's great to hear her respects or her insights on recruiting. So another great guest. Hey, let's look at some weather right now. The winds today, again, not going to be much of an issue as we run through the day. That they really don't get up where we're going to see any strong gusts. That's of concerns for the transportation. Do see some stronger winds start to grow later in the day up in Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota. Again, the gusts just really aren't there. Central Texas later this afternoon, we'll see some winds pick up, but the strong gusts really aren't there currently. Hey, let's talk about some rain and thunder. And yes, Mansfield, Texas got some rain yesterday afternoon. Don't know how much it was, but it was a nice about a half-hour shower. Some pretty heavy rains that came down at the time, so that was very, very welcome. And right now, currently, pretty strong thunderstorm going on up there in the northern corner of Louisiana, right down by Arkansas. You know, some red in there, so that means, you know, there could be some very strong winds come up with that. Potential for lots of thunder and lightning, heavy rain, so be aware of that in northern Louisiana. Another area where there's a pretty good storm going on is right down in that corner of Missouri and Illinois where they come together. But other than that, currently not a lot going on as far as rain goes. This afternoon, we're starting to see some showers pop up over in the southeast. That storm that was in Arkansas or Louisiana moves a little bit to the north and to the east, and so it's right on that Mississippi-Arkansas border. Kentucky will be getting some more rain or has forecast for more rain this afternoon. Tennessee, you know, all along the Gulf Coast states seeing some rain this afternoon. And as we go into the early evening, showers do pop up again, and we're seeing rain all the way from Idaho down through Arizona, New Mexico, coming across parts of Texas, and then again the Gulf Coast states. Kentucky still getting some rain this afternoon. Lots of areas where they've got a lot of precipitation. Ground is very saturated. Some flooding going on out in that area, so be very aware of that. But none of those storms that we're looking at, you know, from this afternoon into this evening, look very severe. And as we go into the overnight hours, it really gets to be a pretty calm evening as far as precipitation goes. Temperature-wise, you know, we're predicted to be under 100 again today in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Yesterday they predicted that, but we still hit 102. I think this afternoon we're supposed to get up around 80 and 90. Still plenty of heat out there, and you see that heat band go all the way from southern Texas all the way up into the Canadian border. You know, Montana is still plenty hot for this time of year. So the temperatures are there, starting to build up. So, you know, don't let your guard down. Stay hydrated. You know, if you feel yourself being stressed or heat stroke coming on, make sure you take a break. Let your DM or let somebody know if you're not feeling well due to the heat. With that, we're going to take a short break and come back and talk some safety.
This segment has been brought to you by Utility ProWear. Utility ProWear manufactures high-quality, ANSI certified, high-visibility apparel for both men and women. Infused with the Teflon fabric protector, Utility ProWear affords the wearer durable clothing with a great fit to afford the highest degree of safety. Get your high-visibility apparel by going to utilityproware.com. Use the code BCB20 at checkout for an exclusive discount.
Rick Larkin here, host of BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. If you don't already know about Freight and Review, it's a segment I cover once a week where I analyze freight rejections, freight tenders, driver productivity, and much, much more. You can watch Freight and Review on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today and follow BCB Live. Welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Double check what's going on.
Hey, not a lot, but hey, what a welcome shower yesterday afternoon. Really wasn't expecting as much as we got, but it was nice.
I didn't get anything.
Really?
Like, I swear to you, it was 18, maybe 20 drops.
Oh, no, it was a pretty good shower.
Did you get one?
Yeah.
No, I got nothing. Did we get rain here at the office?
Oh, yeah.
I was right here, and off 287, nothing.
It rained about a half hour here. I mean, and at times really heavy. I'm going, where the heck did this come from? And, you know, it was kind of nice.
Well, you know what? Thank goodness. But I don't think we got any at the house.
Yeah.
So there was some lightning. It looked like it was going to get nasty. Nothing where I was, but good to see 5 miles from where I was, the rain happened here.
Yeah, my wife lives up in Grand Prairie, not a drop up there either. So, I mean, you know, very, very spotty showers. And
yeah, I don't know what it is. I tell you, the sunshine tends to follow Sir Rick. There's no clouds around me. I'm a beam of light. I'm there to make your day a little bit better. It's just what happens if I can be that person that kickstart your day by a lot of positive things to say. That's who I am. I'm all about love. I'm all about you. That's Sir Rick. Sunshine follows me around.
That's right. No cloudiness around, Rick. I mean, no down areas there, man. It's just the sun. It's the good stuff, man.
I appreciate that. What do we got going on for safety today?
You know, we're talking about that CVSA safety break week.
Hold on a second. That's the word I was looking for. Put your paper down. Don't look at it. All right, because one thing that Drive Safe Dave can't do is get, you know, you guys say all these things. So CVSA, what's it stand for?
Commercial Motor Vehicle Safety Association.
CMV.
CVSA.
So
Commercial Vehicle Safety
Gotcha. You did throw a motor in there earlier.
No, you just misheard that, Rick. I mean, with the
I heard motor. So I'm going to go with, you get one shot here. You got it right second
I'm not Drive Safe for you. You have to go.
All right, we're talking CVSA's.
They're gonna focus on brake checks next week. You know, when they get pulled in for inspections, they'll do level 1s and level 4s. Level 4s are just a very spot. They're looking for one thing, and it's the brakes. That's what they're looking for. Yesterday we always talk about pre-trips and post-trips inspecting your vehicle. Very important to get out and look at it, but just as important is to listen for it. When we talk about the brake systems, that's air. So we have to listen. Do we have any leaks? And we have to know about that. Walk around your vehicle listening for air leaks. If you hear that hissing, identify where it's coming from. and get it fixed. The other thing you want to do is make sure you do your pump down test. Make sure that your valves pop out. You know, when you get down to 20 to 45 pounds, your valve should pop out if you're low pressure. That's one of the things they're going to look at, make sure that it's working. They'll also have you start your truck up and make sure that it pumps up, that the governor kicks in and out at the right place on your air pressure and stuff like that. But today's tip really is listen for that air leak. Walk around your vehicle while it's turned off and listen for that air leak.
All right. That means when you're doing what you're saying, that means if you can't have them iPhones or headsets on. You got to listen.
Yeah.
Right.
It's use all your senses when you do that pre-trip. And today, just focus a little bit more on your listening, because, a lot of times we just do that quick walk around. We're not even really paying attention. We're just looking, and not necessarily looking for what's wrong, just looking. I mean, not even noticing, hey, that lug nut may be loose, that tire's not in good shape. Oh, those hoses are rubbing and chafing. Oh, what's that here? Oh, that's a hiss. I got an air leak someplace. I got to check that out. How much is it leaking? Because there are acceptable rates, but it's not much. I'm going to tell you that.
Yeah, it's a hiss, or you're out in West Texas and it could be a snake. Either way, make sure you're listening for that. Right?
That's right. Look down if it's a snake.
All right, so it's video time here on BCB Live, and I'm going to guess, hold on before you start showing them, I'm going to guess following too close, running a stop sign or light, speed. I'm even going to go with a four-wheeler cutting us off. Here we go. Roll them.
All right, this first one we got is, if you're going to pace, leave more space.
Check.
Yeah, you just, again, we show these a lot. Ricky talked about it right before we jumped into this. We're just following too close. We've got to create that space. We can't, if you're going to pace somebody, pace them at the proper distance. Don't pace them when you're too close, So just recognize what you're at, back it off, and then pace them if that's what you like doing.
Yeah, once again, when we started talking about that a little bit yesterday, but right now you're in the vehicle in front of you bubble. That's his or her bubble. Get out of it. Create your own bubble, your own spacing. Right now you're in theirs. Back off. You can't see what's in front of them. You've got a moving billboard in front of you. You have to move back so you can react. Next video, please.
Next one we got is, the drill, stop.
Oh my goodness, check. 2 for 2. I didn't even look at these.
There you go. This is, coming up to the stop sign, and we know it's there. We see it there. It's an always stop, and we just kind of roll right on through that about 8-9 miles an hour. And, it doesn't give us time to look. Looks like we're in, maybe a light industrial, maybe residential area. Doesn't matter where we're at. Doesn't matter what time of day. Stop means stop. Always means stop.
Yeah.
We got to do it. We got to get out of that habit of saying, there's no traffic around. I'll just blow through this. We got to stop. Got to get in that habit.
Yeah, and it's as simple as that, folks. You just have to stop. And listen, if you're looking for reasons, and maybe you feel like starting today, tomorrow, this week, school is right around the corner, and it's starting many places already. You got to get in the habit of stopping. You're going to see it right here where kids are going to be out walking to and from school. You're going to see it on the school buses. And once again, when that light comes out, when that stop sign flaps out, you've got to stop. You can't decide to slow roll it just like this. You've got to make it that decision in your heart to stop. And I'm going to tell you, at 9 miles an hour, you knew you ran the light or the stop sign. You just knew it. And you just know you didn't run it when you stop. I don't know how else to say that, Dale. I mean, you just have to stop. And when you stop, you stopped.
Yeah. And you're right. They knew they run it, and if they didn't, then it's a real habit. And then that's something they need to focus on. And that's something that these videos help show us, because a lot of drivers, well, I stopped for that. Yeah. No, you didn't. You didn't even get to a slow roll on this one. That's 8-9 miles an hour. That's too fast, especially like you said, school coming on and all those little kids coming out, and they're not paying attention.
Not at all. Not at all.
They got school on their mind.
And we, the bad habit continues to be this right here when we talk to any driver, when you just talk to anybody in a four-wheeler, in a big truck, it's all the same. Because nobody's around, there's nobody at the other ones, you feel like you just don't have to stop. Producer, I'm going to ask you, because I saw you run the stop sign the other day in the neighborhood. Why did you run the stop sign? It says stop. I'm going to ask, do you know what a stop sign, what you're supposed to do to stop
Yes,
sign?
I do know what a stop sign.
What keeps you from doing that?
I'm not going to lie, I had no clue I ran a stop sign.
Bad habit.
Yeah.
Must mean you do. So do you? I mean, does that put you like in another tier with your friends? Like, you know what? Yeah, hey guys, ran another stop sign today.
I was distracted today. I kind of blew right through that sign, man.
You know that stop sign in the neighborhood? Ran it.
Which one did I run?
Yeah, I'm not telling you. You need to stop at stop signs. Did you run more than one?
No, I personally have noted. I try my best to stop every time, and it's like it's actually uncomfortable. But I've been doing it since I started working here. So I must have just had to slip up.
Maybe it was a 6 mile an hour roll. I don't know. What I want you to do though is to quit acting like it's cool to break the law. Okay. You know, I know your rebellion. It's all part of what y'all do when you go to college. But stop at stop signs. I mean, Dad, Mom, you drive to them when you go to church.
Yes.
Does Dad stop at the stop signs?
No.
It is the craziest saying ever. I'm really, I mean it, because it doesn't mean that Mr. Melton's going to hell because he ran the stop sign, and it doesn't mean you, the truck driver, is going to do the same thing. They are bad habits, and it's almost like it's judgmental. You can choose when it comes into play or when it doesn't come into play.
That's fair. Yeah, and I don't know. Overall, I think with people, the hardest part of it is those stop signs where there's, just like in that video, there's nobody there, there's nothing coming. It looks like, there's no reason to, half the time it feels like there shouldn't even be a stop sign there. And so it's kind of just second nature just to go through, but you got to really emphasize in your mind to feel that break.
And when we talk about it, we keep saying, well, nobody's there. When we slow roll them, we don't have that chance to take a good look. Yeah, chances are nobody's there, but what if we slow roll it and don't get the good look, and there is somebody there? That's when it becomes more important yet.
For sure. Marty, I'm coming after you too. All right, next video.
All right, next video we got is called Save the Tailgating for Football Season.
Yeah, I mean, this is just tailgating. I mean, this is beyond following too close. This is just tailgating, and tailgating is aggressive driving. Folks, we got to recognize this. We're not making anybody go any faster. We're not getting there any quicker by doing this. This person's, right now looking in his mirror and go, holy cow, that truck's close. You got to back out of it. This is unsafe driving. This is aggressive driving right here, folks. You got to back out of it. You got to create that space. Don't let yourself get into this situation when you do take corrective action.
Yeah, and you said it right. It's just aggressive driving. All you're doing right now is making that car in front of you feel pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right now, and maybe this is a 16-year-old that's out driving for the first time on a highway. Right, and can you imagine the fear behind them right now? Now they're driving, they're already scared, they're on the highway, driving perhaps faster than they've ever driven at 65.
Yeah.
And you right on them, scaring them to death. They can't get in the right lane. They're just staying there, and you're making them uncomfortable, and you're just incredibly too close.
Yeah, and we're 5 miles over. So take that even a step further. You're already forcing them. They're already driving 5 miles an hour over, and you're still right on their tail, and they're going, oh my God, what do I have to do? But if you do notice, they do have great following distance between them and the vehicle ahead of them, so they've got their bubble going on.
No, yeah, that's what made me think maybe that's a newer person, because again, newer drivers in our industry, newer drivers into the car, they tend to kind of they stop at stop signs. They watch their following distance because they're brand new. When we start driving for many years, we create a lot of bad habits during that period because we've always done it like this. And what we want to continue to focus on and to talk to you about is when you've been in this industry so long, you go back and reevaluate how you're doing your job. There are better and safer ways to do that, utilizing technology to help you get better.
Yeah, I mean, and you said it so well, Rick. I mean, they start out doing it, you're a newer driver, you're really focusing on all the details, and then you just get more comfortable, more complacent. Well, I rolled it yesterday, and now all of a sudden it becomes a habit. Or I followed too close yesterday, nothing happened. And you let that bad habit, start developing. And so, like you said, use that technology to make yourself aware of what the habits are, of what you're doing, and to improve it.
Producer, when you first got your license, can you take yourself back to that, 6 months ago? And did you stop? I mean, you probably stopped at every stop sign, right?
Yeah. So 4 years ago when I got my license, that's the thing, because I was lucky and I mean, it's not really legal, but my parents let me drive a little bit to like church and stuff. Anything that was within a couple miles for about 3 months before I actually got my license. And I mean, I was so nervous every time I drove, making sure I was below the speed limit, not get pulled over, because then I wouldn't have been able to drive till I was 18, so that would have been bad. But then also, stopping at stop signs, every time a light, was going yellow to red, turning right, make sure I stop at that, then make the turn, which is actually one thing I still do because I almost got in an accident, or almost got T-boned one time doing that, so make sure I emphasize that. But, yeah, it's just when you first start, you're always a little nervous, and I think just me also growing up never have been in an accident, just that worried feeling, like trying to avoid being in an accident, having friends that had been in bad ones, and had a buddy who messed up his neck pretty bad when he first got his license our sophomore year in high school. And so kind of just that fear factor keeps you on your toes, make sure you're very diligent with stopping and following all the laws. And so I think I've definitely, I wouldn't say loosened up, but it just becomes so natural, and you're just so much more comfortable driving that it's not the forefront of your mind.
And I can imagine that from a driver, right, that's putting on, more miles in a day than we do in a month. That you're there and you just become accustomed and used to, and this is just becomes part of your life, and before you know it, you're following too closer than you would have yourself, say 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah. You just get, everybody else is doing it. You just get that mindset. And so the great thing about this show is help to, break that mindset, get them back to focusing on what it is, where we need to be, what it should be.
Well, I caught myself actually the other day. Dave talked about it a lot a couple weeks ago with daydreaming being, the number one cause of accidents. And so I was just driving my normal route back home from work and caught myself daydreaming a little bit and almost ran a red light. Just not even thinking.
Yeah. I mean, if you lose focus, again, and your mind wanders. And again, our truckers out there that watch this show, my goodness, to be out there driving for 10 or 11, can you imagine, pretty seriously, what goes through your mind? I mean, you're replaying your life many times in your head on that every single day over. And why isn't she answering the phone? Why isn't he answering the phone? These kind of questions, the jealousy things, the why am I on this load again? They know I don't like going to Louisiana, yet they put me on it. And you just start rethinking and recreating items that maybe aren't true, but things that become distractions as you're driving. Yeah. Next video.
Next video we got is called, Does Nighttime Make It Okay to Follow Too Close?
I'm going to go with no.
I'm going to go with no. And yet we see it, that's what's happening here. We're just too close. If anything, in the nighttime, in bad weather, inclement weather, we need to create even more space. We need to back off even more because what we can see in the big picture is less. And so following too close at night, still not a good idea.
Yeah, a lot of action on this road, too. You're seeing a lot of traffic, a lot of lanes. That tells you, usually, especially in the big truck, hey, back it off because, they're there for a reason. So you have many lanes right here. You have traffic in here. You really don't have any outs. You are going below the speed limit. However, you still need to have that space. Focus on that space. Get that space there. If you question it, if you wonder, do I have enough space? Hey, call your safety director, call your driver manager, go over with them some of these rules. Learn how to count, learn how to find those areas where you do count. Use technology. Again, if you can, I'm going to encourage you to go invest in technology that helps you identify when you are in an unsafe thing. But then I'm going to ask you this simple thing is when you find out you're in an unsafe situation, back out of it.
Yeah, and how long does it take you to back out of it? Don't wait for, that car is going to pull over. I'm not going to slow down because that car is going to change lanes. No, take immediate action.
Next video we got is called, Looks Like We Made It Increase.
Yeah, I mean, right here, just talking about leaving yourself an out. Once we get closer up here, we just really have no place here. We have no good place to go in this one, the driver. And so you just got to create that space. You got to listen to your coach. You got to understand when you're too close and the risk of being too close, what it means to you. You don't have an out here. You can't get stopped in time if everybody comes to a sudden stop. And we see that all the time. We see trucks or vehicles stopped in the roadway or slow down very quickly because of debris or whatever it may be. So we've got to understand when we get in these situations, we got to take corrective actions now, not wait for the vehicle to pull over or to get out of our way. We need to create that bubble, create that space.
And that's all we got.
All right, great videos today. Listen, it's BCB Live. This will be our last show until September the 5th. We are going to have some reviews, and you know what? Thankfully or unthankfully, you'll probably see a lot of the same videos, right? Yeah. We'll show you some videos of following too close. We're still going to talk to you and have some best ofs, going until then. Things that we're going to do, we're really going to work on the, on a better presentation for you. There's little things that we're going to do, by coming on at noon, and that's what time we're going to be on, noon Central. It's going to give us a chance to see what's going on, better content, even better guests, and it's hard to imagine we can get better guests on. We can, but you know what? When you can get people on the, reach out to people they can join during normal hours, you're going to get a lot more people excited to be on the show. I want to thank all of you out there for watching this and being part of this community of safety. What I can tell you is that we're going to continue to focus on it harder than ever, more than ever, better than ever, utilizing better technology as we prepare to open up in our new studio, probably still a couple months away. We want to bring you better information because we believe you deserve it, and we believe that we can help you make a difference in our industry and keeping our industry safe. To the producer, boy, I tell you, this is it for you. I mean, are you any tears over there? I'm looking over there. Any tears?
No, I wouldn't say tears. I would say, though, I've been really appreciative. I've loved working here this summer. Gotten to meet so many cool people, and it's been nice. Yesterday I got to talk to a few drivers too, and it's just, I wouldn't say kind of celebrity status, but it's cool, being in a position where, everybody around here knows who you are. People you've never even seen them before coming up and know you by name. So I've really enjoyed that, and it's also opened me up, just experience-wise. Being a finance major at school. Transportation industry has so many opportunities within that field, to go work for a company like that. So it sets me up in the future if I want to go work for a company like this, just kind of having more basic knowledge, and I think a lot of people I'd be competing against. So really
I'm curious what the when you get back to school coming up in a few weeks, what'd you do this summertime stories are going to be like. I mean you're going to be did you ever really, honest to God, think your summer would be getting and showing up to work at 6 o'clock in the morning?
No, because originally, so I don't know if I've said this on the show before, but I kind of got this position just from my dad and Rick running into each other, and Rick saying he needed somebody just to produce their podcast, and so my dad said, yeah, you'll be there in the morning, should be done by noon or 2, whatever. And so I was like, I expected, maybe 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And then I texted Rick about 3 or 4 days before I was starting to work, right when I got home from school. He was like, yeah, I'll see you at 6 a.m. Or no, originally he said 5:30. And so I was like, dear God. and then thankfully he switched it to 6 on me. And so, that was 30 minutes. That was a lot better. But honestly, I've loved it. It's really helped my sleep schedule because it was really trash at the end of the school year. And I actually do plan on kind of staying on a roll here when I get to school, maybe waking up at 6:30, 7 every day. Just, because for the first time, because I probably haven't woken up this early since elementary school. And so, it's nice to have that full day where, because I don't go to sleep till midnight or 1 o'clock. So I'm getting a good 20 hours out of my day every day. So I just feel a lot more productive, and it's actually made for a lot more successful summer, I'd say.
I feel like we shouldn't have even paid him. I feel like we're giving him enough life lessons. That should have been enough pay. Our dear Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for all that you've done with this show, for giving us ideas on where to take this, to giving us an audience to talk to giving us an audience that will listen and try to make these applications that we talk to in their lives become safer. We know we have a reason. We know we have a mission. And we just ask for your blessing to get our minds, maybe refocused, to give us recharge, to give us different ideas on what we can do to create success, not only in BCB Live, but in the lives of so many people out there. Ask a special prayer right now as Boyd prepares to go out to college again, that you stay with him, you keep him safe, you keep him close to you. It's in your son's name we pray. Amen. Everybody, we'll see you September the 5th. We'll see you still throughout the day. We're going to have shows going on every single day. We appreciate all that you do. We're excited. I cannot wait to, for a month from now, to get going at noontime. That'll be fun, exciting already. And then that studio is right around the corner. That, I promise, is going to change your life. It will be life-changing. I'm going to tell you right now, I feel like I need to put a baptismal in there too, because we're going to have a lot of people coming down the aisle, getting baptized into safety right here on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.